Well, I just checked in with the folks at one of our sister stations next door, and they tell me they got a message. Chris will not be joining us this morning. He's under the weather, quite literally. 46, Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX. News Radio 13. You know, yesterday, speaking of under the weather, I had planned to go get my flu shot. And then I got busy with other things and didn't realize until this morning that I never went and got it. And I'm a touch under the weather this morning. I think it's actually just the change, the dampness. But I can feel it. You know, it does impact sinuses and your throat and the like. 924. What happens with rain, though? Rain is a good thing. It really does purify the air. I remember reading sometime a good thunderstorm with a lot of lightning in it will do that as well. Gets rid of a lot of the allergies that you would otherwise be you'd be sucking in every day. So the first couple of days after a really good rainstorm, it's really pleasant to be outside. 924. Bill Colley with you on Top Story this morning on News Radio 1310 KLIX and newsradio1310.com. Wanted to point out a lot of people are getting ready now for with Halloween out of the way. They're getting ready for Thanksgiving, and that means a lot of you would like to have a fully stocked freezer at home because you never know who's going to drop by. I mean, you've got a big family. They may all be coming over. Hopefully, they're not all going to argue politics with you while they're eating. That's why I won't be on the air that day. That'll help keep things settled down. High Desert Meat Processing processes one animal at a time. What you bring in is exactly what you're going to get back. Darren Van Horn, the owner of High Desert Meat Processing in Twin Falls, has more than 30 years' experience in the meat business. You can visit High Desert Meat Processing on Facebook, read reviews of the customers. You can give High Desert Meat Processing a call for all of your wild game and domestic processing needs. The number, 734-9949. High Desert Meat does in-house smoking. Nothing gets shipped out. Specialty meats such as jerky, pepperoni, salami, summer sausage, kielbasa, breakfast sausage, brats, Polish dogs, hot dogs, and much, much more. USDA approved. Darren works closely with local beef growers and their programs to ensure quality meat. The number again, 734-9949. Speaking of holidays, we had a great time over the weekend. Some of you may have been among the large crowd. I think Penny Main told me there were 3,500 people that came out, and we were there with a number of our sponsors, of course, during the course of the afternoon Saturday, and our sponsors were just wonderful handing out candy and the like, and other goodies for the children who came through. Just beautiful weather, too. It was close to 70 degrees. We just had a great time getting a chance to meet everybody. I was looking at the people as they were coming through and just taking a note. Very popular costumes, obviously, are the ones related to some of the latest movies that have been out. The children seem to love those. But a lot of people actually came in various themes and did a lot of their own work. And I mean, some of the costumes were absolutely beautiful. You know that you got a caring mother when she might spend, a good work week putting together your costume, if not longer. It's 9:26. But I saw these people come through, and the man had a huge sombrero on, and then he had like a white clothes on, like the old Mexican folk dress. And his children pretty much dressed up the same way too as well. And they looked like they were Latino. And so I thought, well, okay, they're just not only coming out on Halloween, but they're celebrating a little bit of heritage too. It's kind of a neat thing to see. Then I came across this over the weekend at the Daily Caller. College president apologizes for wearing sombrero. Now, when a liberal has to eat crow, they will go around for the rest of their lives feeling humiliated and apologizing for that one moment where they offended their fellow liberals. The president of the University of Louisville in Kentucky has been forced to hastily apologize after a photo emerged of him and his staff members wearing sombreros. The mess began earlier this week when the Courier-Journal published a picture of a Louisville president, or the college president, James Ramsey, and much of his staff bedecked with stereotypical Mexican garb, from sombreros to fake mustaches to maracas. Ramsey himself is on the bottom right, it says, in a poncho. You can't see that. I can. Then it goes on to say the picture was taken at a Halloween party hosted by Ramsey and his wife at their home. Louisville student Olivia Kraut eviscerated Ramsey for the image in a Thursday column published in the campus paper, claiming that dressing in traditional Mexican garb was racist. Ramsey's chief of staff, Kathleen Smith, apologized in a statement Thursday responding to the column, quote, "We made a mistake and are very sorry," unquote. Oh no, he's put on a sombrero. He must be fired. He must have to go live in a cave for the rest of his life in isolation. Smith also vowed the university would institute a new diversity and racial equality training for staff to avoid future diversity-related incidents. Now, if they had a party and they wore bowler hats instead, would people of English ancestry start complaining that that was racist? And would they have to apologize for what? And I was carrying an umbrella too. Therefore, I've been making fun of Englishmen. I am humiliated and very, very sorry. How about at St. Patrick's Day? If you have a party and you show up wearing green or you dress like a leprechaun, are you then being offensive and should you be run out of town? It's a question. How about Cinco de Mayo? Could he wear the sombrero on Cinco de Mayo? How about on the 4th of July if they showed up wearing tri-cornered hats? Would that be wrong? Doesn't anybody out there take a look at these things and wonder why we can't get any traction in addressing $20 trillion of debt in this country? And why you have people at debates asking stupid questions all the time? Because they've come up in this environment. That's why. 9:30, Bill Colley with you on Top Story on News Radio 1310, KLIX and News Radio 1310.com. I know, you read this stuff, and at least it happened to a liberal. When liberals are groveling, I actually find that somewhat funny. I think they should do more of that. In fact, I think that liberals, if they went out and groveled every day and apologized to all of us for, well, just being liberals, that would be a good thing. I've got more coming up. Bill Colley with you on Top Story today on News Radio 1310, KLIX and News Radio 1310.com. As I said, Chris Anderson postponing, not joining us today. Hopefully we'll see him sometime again soon. A couple of other things I want to bring up before we wrap up the program. Sad to see Fred Thompson go. Maybe we'll actually hear a little bit of his history before we wrap up the show.